spirituality, justice to God's people. Slander and free speech. What did our founding fathers really mean when they wrote in the Amendment of Free Speech?
Wake up, America, the enemy's already here.
I do not think our founding fathers meant free speech to mean use slander, misrepresentation, character defamation, bigotry, and prejudice in general against other people. Contrary to that, the true ideal of free speech is to prevent all communication that is based on prejudice of any kind. The founding fathers and their ancestors had suffered in Europe from false accusations and misrepresentation by the hands of the then 1% and the enemies of truth and goodness. Wherever evil gets a hand to discredit truly godly persons, it is done through the media of the day. With modern technology and the internet, the invention of invisible but yet ever present cowardly false accusers behind the computers, behind the monitors, who slander the people they disagree with in the name of free speech has become a common thing. Thanks to the misrepresentation of free speech by Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media. The writers of the Constitution included free speech to bring to the table intelligent dialogue and a forum to listen to the opposing views of others on various subjects, not for character assassination. Usually, the characters of individuals were not even mentioned in the dialogues and philosophical debates of the past, and only the topics of discussion were presented. Not so today. Everyone's open target. Today, all too often, the characters of persons are lambasted, and the actual differences of opinion and other ideas are not even presented, because the person that is tearing down the character of the one they disagree with does not present the subject matter. Even the various avenues of news, media, have done the same thing, with shows like Dateline and other tabloid-type news programs that are imbalanced and focus on presenting a slanted perspective, often negative and attacking, of a person or a group without presenting all sides of the situation or the actual intellectual property of the nuts and bolts of the argument. Politics has become rampant with this kind of misrepresentation. Politics has always had a dirty bent to it in that area, but modern political dialogue has become downright iniquitous. The office of the president has been scarred in America due to the allowance of the assassination of character and the continual perpetuation of falsehoods. As was seen in the last presidential race, fake news became the norm and was effective in distorting facts and misrepresenting candidates. This has scarred the reputations of men and women who have the potential to be great state persons and public servants. Many good men and women have been prevented from running for the office of the president because they were slandered through distortion of facts and twisting of truth. There have been presidential candidates who were discredited by exaggerating their human flaws and indicating they were much worse than what they were. Taking a little dirt on someone and making a huge mud ball of it, making sin out of mere error. It is much easier to see the flaws in someone on the opposing side than to see one's own or political parties similar sins. What hypocrisy! Jesus said to take the log out of your own eye before trying to remove the speck from someone else's eye. When yellow journalism takes over, which is more common than not, a good man or woman is crushed under the tide of everything is allowed in politics, or certain persons are allowed to be unjustly accused because they are public persons, or movie stars and celebrities are allowed no privacy because of belonging to the public, which gives credence for the inappropriate and often abusive interference of paparazzi. It is now common understanding that this kind of paparazzi behavior is the cause of the accident that killed Princess Diana. How many truly wonderful people will have to pay the price of being wonderful in the name of free press? Journalism today has become riddled with anything goes journalism, which is really called yellow journalism, rather than true journalism. Yellow journalism is meant to incite fear, distrust, ridicule, hatred, and so on towards specific individuals or groups of individuals, including entire political parties, religions, and nations. Everything's up for grabs today. Everybody's open for any kind of attack. The character of a person or group is the content of the story rather than a message about ideas and ideals. The value of the message is lost in the verbal attack of the so-called journalist against a person or group who are trying to change the world in a true way. Vindictive, jealous, and resentful people, most who are not even journalists, use the internet and Facebook in a destructive way, often against people they are jealous of, be it a movie star or the neighbor next door. And where Facebook and other internet social media outlets should protect individuals from these kinds of slanderers from all walks of life, particularly individuals who are social change agents trying to make a real difference in this world, they allow misrepresentation against the very individuals who have the courage to present ideals and ideas that may challenge the status quo of self-serving values, and the rich and the elite that control the media. The ones who are putting their behinds on the line for the sake of others are practicing true free speech. These are the ones that should be protected. These true change agents talk about the issues, not about the people. Slanderers are allowed to call people fat or skinny or make fun of their big noses or other parts of their bodies as if any of that has anything to do with anything, that it has anything to do with the soul of the person inside. Today, too much credit is given to those who are considered beautiful, and if you don't look like a beauty queen or Prince Charming, you're not worthy. Some of the greatest minds in history were not beautiful, nor tall, nor handsome, nor rich. People were more accepted in times past for their fine intellect and, wisdom. Once the media labels you any of the names that are used to discredit a person, you cannot get on the radio or television. You're done. Finito. If you are a musician, you cannot get a record contract or get your music played on the air. This is how it has been for centuries. The media destroys you if you are really a true person of change. But in contemporary history, it is worse now. Since the advent of the use of the internet as a tool of disinformation anyone can sit behind a monitor and pretend to be a warrior. The name of the game today is just that, disinformation. Wonderful activists, through their music, like Joan Baez and Bob Dylan, and the past 15 years or so, they could not become stars today, for they would be discredited long before they were able to get any kind of record contract. Today, to get a record contract, you have to compromise. You have to be part of the status quo. If you're a woman, you have to show your body, not your soul. It truly does take someone with a lot of money today to run for president in order to counteract with positive press and a team of media experts the negativity coming against them. Money, money, money. That's the name of the game today. Who has the most money will probably win the election, with public relations experts and media sources that they can buy at the drop of a hat. Today, we live in a world of upside-down values, where good is called evil and evil is called good, where the universal laws of the divine creator and those who honor them are looked upon as outdated and even silly. It's silly to be godly. It's silly to be and have morality. In this manner, men and women who stand up for moral codes of ethics are kept out of the mainstream media by the degradation of their characters. You ruin a person's character, it's just like shooting them with a gun, or, as Jesus said, sticking a sword in them. These people of integrity are made out to be religious fanatics, and sometimes even called by the worst word that you can possibly call someone today, cultist. It is becoming more difficult to find a place in America for thought that is alternative to materialism and self-seeking ease. Free thinkers have become few and far between. Most individuals fall under the pressure of anything goes and only relativity is the norm, with no absolutes of any right and wrong within a code of ethics. God help us. If the universe ran like that, it would fall apart. There has to be absolutes. Great men and women in the history of the planet, from the ancient wisdom keepers of all continents, from the BC era, from India and Syria and Egypt to Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, up to the times of Jesus and onward, to those wisdom keepers of the AD era, from all corners of the world, understood, had a common presence of mind, that there has to be moral absolutes and right and wrongs that guide the changing times of their day. When men and women of true greatness are discredited by the press of the day, they can be unrighteously imprisoned, as was done with the late Nelson Mandela, or even assassinated, as with John and Robert Kennedy, Stephen Biko of South Africa, Ken Saro-Wiwa of Nigeria, and Benazir Bhutto of Pakistan. Perhaps if the Constitution of the United States would have been interpreted correctly in the so-called era of free speech, ha-de-ha, these men like John Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr., and Robert Kennedy would not have been assassinated and would have been protected rather than misrepresented by much of the press under the disguise of free speech. In each one of their social movements, the handwriting was on the wall. Due to the character assassination of these great souls, the character assassination comes first. And then if that doesn't work, then they actually assassinate you. Many wonderful advocates for peace, like Father Philip Berrigan and his brother Daniel Berrigan, would have been more protected and should have been. They should not have been imprisoned and their names scarred if we would have had stronger laws against misrepresentation of character under the banner of so-called free speech.
I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you, as the future leaders of the world, to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. And it's not an American problem. This is not about Russian ads. This is a global problem.
Recently, those of us within our parent organization, Global Community Communications Alliance, decided together to come off of Facebook as individuals because Facebook continues to allow misrepresentation of myself under the guise of free speech to be called a cult leader. And much worse. I've been called every name in the book. Facebook has allowed a false public Gabriel of Urantia cult page by someone else that's not even me. It's not my page. And an imposter account called Tony Delavan to remain online even though we asked them to take it down. These sites have nothing to do with me or my teachings and beliefs, though their purpose is to appear to represent me, to pretend it's me. To make a statement against this violation of free speech, we chose to get off of social media and Facebook as a community of individuals who made that choice. In the name of free speech, in 1997, Dateline was legally allowed, with the power of their sky-high building of attorneys, to misrepresent those of us in our community as blind followers and a cult, with me as, of course, the cult leader. They did a brilliant job of cutting and editing every truthful thing I said and every truthful thing that Neonimus and Chase said. Since then, for the last 20 years, we have been misunderstood even by our families and friends and parents of community members here who believe just about everything the media spews out. Most people do not understand how modern technology cuts and edits to present the media's slant in order to sell newspapers, magazines, and get television ratings. Once again, this is all done in the name of free speech, with laws that protect the media, not the people. In other countries, the people are protected, such as in England. But in the United States, it's the media that's protected. In the name of free speech, there are some individuals of the wide road of anything goes mentality, rather than those that walk on the road less traveled within divine pattern, who attempt to discredit Global Community Communications Alliance simply because our values are different than theirs. Only by the grace of God have we been able to survive as a community and a team of global change agents. But it has been a nightmare of suffering for all of us in many different ways, including losing our children to a parent who left the community and was willing to use the misrepresentation of Dateline and other media against us. They like to use the court word, and the courts love it. The courts are part of the system. Justice? There's no justice today. Excuse me? We have even lost some of our sons and daughters to the world of anything goes morality because we choose to abide by the commandments of God and adhere to higher moral ethics, including celibacy, until a loving, committed relationship. And this same scenario happens with children who leave their spiritual parents of all religions and walks of life, who are then supported by the existing status quo society against their families, particularly the families that are more spiritually oriented. A new world is coming for those who believe in the return of the Promised One. In Christianity, this Promised One is called Jesus Christ. In other religions, the Promised One is called by many names. But all believe that this world is soon to pass away and a new one of worldwide peace and well-being will replace it.
There's a new world coming. Keep the dream alive.
To bring true peace and justice to all of the peoples of the planet.
There's a new world
Thank you.